What's up everyone? Chào các bạn và chào mừng các bạn quay trở lại với podcast Slow and Clear của What's Up English. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 ways to practice your English in 10 minutes or less. This video is for people who are busy with life, with your family, with your kids, with your job, and you simply don't have that much time to learn, and you probably don't have that much energy either. And for each method I give you, I'll show you exactly what to do so you don't need to think. You literally just click that and then you're there. You're good to go. Because when you only have 5 or 10 minutes to learn, we can't really spend time thinking about what we're going to do, right? So I'll give everything to you. You won't have to think about it. You'll know what to do step by step. And all of the programs and the things that I tell you about in this video will be in the description below. So let's get started with the first way to learn English, and that is to practice your listening skills, of course by watching my channel, but also by watching a channel called Vox, and that's VOX. So this channel makes really interesting videos about things going on in the world that you wouldn't think of, but then when you see the title, you say, oh, that looks interesting. I'll watch that. And the reason I recommend this channel is because the production quality of the videos are top quality. The audio is very clear, the editing is great, the videos are great. The second reason is because all of their videos have English subtitles. So they're not AI generated subtitles, they're written by hand, so they're perfect, right? And the third reason is because many people want to learn about Western culture. So you can learn a lot about Western culture by watching these videos because that's what they're about a lot of the time. Now, you might be wondering, Carter, what if I'm watching this video and I don't understand some words or some sentences? That's a good question. And a really good solution to that is this Chrome extension, totally free, called Language Reactor. So what this extension will do is it will show you both the English and your choice of language subtitles below it. So for you, you would see the English subtitles with the Vietnamese subtitles below it. And if there's an English word that you don't understand, you just put your mouse over that word and then the Vietnamese translation pops up. It's actually really useful. I think they use the Google API for translation. So the translation is not always perfect, but it's still really useful like 90% of the time. So the way to set up this extension is after you've downloaded it to Chrome, you just click on the settings, you change the translation language to Vietnamese, and then there it is. For whatever video you watch, you'll have English and Vietnamese subtitles. All right, guys, so that's tip number 1, which is to practice your listening skills in 10 minutes or less by watching Vox videos. Tip number 2, this is to practice your reading skills in 10 minutes or less. To do that, simply go to reddit.com and read that website. So what is Reddit? Reddit is basically a forum that has subreddits, so other forums, other pages, for basically any topic you can imagine. And the reason why it's really good to practice your reading is because most of the content there is completely natural. It's like spoken language. Sometimes when we read a novel, it can be really hard to understand because a lot of the words and the structures that they use are not actually used in day-to-day life. So when you read Reddit, it's actually a bit easier and it's really useful for English in real life. So one subreddit that you can check out is reddit.com/r/askreddit. It has random questions that are pretty interesting and the answers can be funny. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I posted a video reading a story from Reddit. That's how useful I think it is for you guys. If you haven't seen that video, make sure to go check it out. Now, you might be wondering, what about words that I don't understand? And for that, you can get the Google Translate extension. So for that extension, you simply download it. Again, it only works for Chrome because Google owns Chrome, and on the other browsers, it's not quite as convenient. So what you do after you've downloaded the Google Translate extension for Chrome is you go to the options, select my primary language as Vietnamese, and then click immediately display pop-up. And that makes it so when you find a word that you don't understand, you just highlight the word and then the Vietnamese translation will just come up. So it's very, very convenient. Okay, so my first 2 tips showed you how to improve your listening and reading skills. But of course, speaking and using the language is also really important. And just practicing even 5 or 10 minutes each day can help you remember the words and help your lips and tongue get used to making the movements to say the words. What I notice myself is if I don't speak Vietnamese for a few days, I start to lose fluency pretty quickly. Like I forget how to say basic things and my pronunciation gets a little bit worse as well. So this next tip will show you how to practice speaking English every day in a realistic and practical way when you only have 5 or 10 minutes of free time. Now, in this podcast, I'm going to give you 2 ways to practice speaking in 10 minutes or less, but this first way is extremely useful, especially for people who are busy or people without a comfortable environment to practice speaking regularly. And this way is to use an app called Elsa Speak, which I'd like to thank for partnering with me for this podcast. Most of you probably already know about Elsa Speak, but for those who don't, Elsa Speak is an English speaking and communication app founded by a Vietnamese entrepreneur that now has over 50 million downloads worldwide, and it uses its own voice recognition AI technology to help you practice natural English communication from easy to difficult levels. Elsa can help you improve your pronunciation, stress, intonation, and can even help you practice real-life communication and prepare for exams like IELTS and TOEFL, etc. Now, I do want you to know that the features I'm about to show you are a part of the Elsa Pro and Elsa Premium packages, which do have a fee. But you'll see exactly how they work and how useful they can be so you can decide if it's the right investment for you. All right, since this tip is about practicing speaking in 10 minutes or less, let me show you how to do that with this app. When you open Elsa Speak for the first time, there will be a lot of options, and it might be a bit confusing at first, but it's actually pretty simple. Here's what you do. First, if you want to practice your pronunciation, one of Elsa's strong points is its ability to pinpoint exact errors and give instant feedback for you to fix your speaking mistakes. To practice this, you can click on the Discover button at the very bottom, and then pronunciation at the very top.
Video.
Video.
D.
Video. Besides pronunciation, you can also choose conversation to have your fluency and intonation analyzed in these conversation practices.
Tell me about your hometown.
I grew up in Ho Chi Minh City, the largest city in Vietnam. So here it looks at your pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. 100%. Woo! If you get the app, I recommend you practice this for at least 5 minutes each day. And for those who want to practice other skills like listening, fluency, and intonation by topic, then simply go to the home page and press Learn by Topic, and you're free to choose from hundreds of topics there. But of course, communication doesn't stop at just reading pre-existing sentences, right? If you want to start making your own sentences and having dynamic conversations, then ELSA Premium, the upgraded package that allows you to use all ELSA products, including ELSA Pro, gives you 3 options to practice. The first one is practicing set phrases, like what we just did, practicing conversational responses in real-life situations, and practicing free-form speaking. This type of speaking changes depending on your questions and answers, so it will really help you improve your speaking reflexes in real-life situations. To practice conversing directly with AI, just like how you're chatting with a real person, simply go to the Discover page and select the ELSA AI feature to get started. Here, you can choose a topic from a pre-suggested list, or you can create any topic you want by clicking on My Own Scenario. To me, this is by far the most useful feature because you can learn how to speak in situations that are relevant to your life. Now I'll create a completely custom scenario for practice to show you what it's like. I'm a Vietnamese local in the Old Quarter, and a tourist is asking me for directions to a cafe.
Excuse me, could you please tell me where I can find a good cafe around here?
Yeah, there's one called My Cafe just down the street.
Oh, great. Is it easy to find?
If you're not really sure what to say, you can press the light bulb icon here to get suggestions.
Thank you so much for your help. Have a nice day.
After each speaking exercise, your speech is thoroughly analyzed based on 3 factors like this, so you can easily understand your current level. You can practice this for as long as you want, the more the better. But I'm confident that just 5 to 10 minutes every day will really help you. You can do it either before bed, during your lunch break, or even when you go to the bathroom. One more thing is that ELSA Premium also includes ELSA Speech Analyzer, a web-based tool that helps you practice long, free-form speech to get detailed feedback on 5 factors and predict scores for certification exams, which is really good for those who need to practice presentations or prepare for international certificates. It also provides certificate courses for international certificates like IELTS, TOEIC, etc., with content compiled by reputable publishers like Oxford or Pearson totally for free. So if you're preparing for IELTS or other certificates, you might want to check it out. So that's how the all-in-one communication package, ELSA Premium, can help you practice your English speaking skills in just 5 to 10 minutes a day, anywhere, anytime. If this feels like the right choice for you, then go ahead and click the link below and use the code CARTER to receive a special offer only available to you guys watching this video. If you use Elsa Speak consistently, not just once, then I think you'll be surprised at how much you improve. All right, let's move on to method number 4. So I promised I would give you guys 2 ways to practice speaking. So this way to practice speaking is by going to a tourist area in your city and asking foreigners if you can talk to them. I'm just kidding. The other way to practice your speaking is to use a random question generator and practice answering those questions. So I've posted the link to this question generator in the description below. I'm just going to do a quick example right now. We've got a cute duck floating in the water. Click for question. What is one of your favorite smells? That's an interesting question. So I don't know if this is one of my favorite smells, and this might sound weird, but a smell that I enjoyed as a kid was the smell at a gas station, like the smell of gas. And I know that sounds weird, but when we would go into the gas station and the smell of gas came into the car, I would be like, oh, that smells good. I don't know why. I know it's toxic and it's definitely not good to like breathe in those fumes, but I did enjoy that smell. So that's an example. You could answer 2 or 3 of these and they are completely random. You can also take your time and prepare your answer. So you can use words that you learned from before, from reading or from listening to prepare your answer. It's not a race, right? The goal of this is to say new things and use new words and simply practice speaking. You can also make your answer short, like 1 sentence, or as long as you want. Basically, the more you practice, the better you get. But if you are unable to say a long answer, then just start with a short one. That's totally fine. So you can probably answer 3 or 4 of those questions in around 10 minutes. It depends how long your answer is. If you are only doing 1 or 2 sentence answers, then maybe you could do more questions. But if you are giving long answers, then maybe 3 or 4 would be enough. And don't forget, you can mix these things up, guys, right? So you can maybe read Reddit for 5 minutes and then answer some questions for 5 minutes. Or you can listen to Vox for 5 minutes and then you can practice reading for 5 minutes. Or you can do one thing for 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. The point is all of these ways are easy to access, right? And you'll know exactly what to do. You don't have to think about it. All right, so the last way is to practice our final skill, which is writing. So writing is a little more complicated. This could have its own video completely, right? Because writing changes depending on what you're writing about. Like if you're writing an email, if you're writing an essay, if you're writing a text message to your friend. So there are many different styles of writing that require different forms of practice to get better at them. But since this channel is a communication channel and a natural English channel, I'll give you a way to practice your writing that will be useful in your daily life. So the way to improve your writing is by writing in a journal. Now, I know you have probably heard people tell you to write in a journal, but I'm going to give you 4 specific things that you can write about, okay? So the first one is to write a sentence or 2, maybe 3, about how you're feeling right now, okay? So for example, right now I feel a little bit tired because it's the evening and I'm recording this podcast after working. It's dinner time, so I'm a little bit hungry, and that's probably why I'm tired as well. So that would be one example of writing about how you're feeling. So the second thing to write about in your journal is something memorable that happened to you today. A personal example that I could write for today would be, today I went to a little shop to buy those sponge dice. It's like a big dice that you can throw. And so I asked the lady, do you have any of these dice in Vietnamese? And she put her hand on my shoulder and said, I don't have any of these dice, but you can go up the road, turn left into the market, and there are many places that sell toys. And I said, great, thank you. It's not an amazing, incredible event, but it's a memorable event. When I thought about today, that's the first thing I thought of. So you can just write that down. The third thing you can write about are your plans for tomorrow. Even if your plans are simply to wake up and do nothing, you can write that. If your plans are to wake up, take a shower, get on the grind, right? Work hard, 5 a.m., go to the gym, go to work, get rich, then you can write that too, right? Whatever you're doing, just write it. It's useful because it's relevant to your own life, and you'll practice things that are useful for you. Now, since you're writing about your plans tomorrow, you can use things like will, I'm going to, I plan to, and stuff like that. So for example, for me, I could say tomorrow I'm going to work on my script for my next video, and then I'm going to work out. After that, I'll have lunch, go teach, come home, and then probably meet a friend for dinner, right? So just something very simple like that. All right, so finally, for the last part of the writing, write 2 things that you are grateful for in life. Now, this will not only improve your English, but it could also help you feel happier as well. Happier with what you have. So for example, I would say one thing I'm grateful for is my supportive viewers, right? Like the comments that I get from you guys when I read them, I feel happy. I feel happy that I'm helping you guys and you guys are learning, and it's something that is improving your life. So that's one thing I'm grateful for, my supportive viewers. And the other thing I'm grateful for are my cats, the Intao. And I think they're lying. Yeah, so they're lying. These are my cats, actually. I don't know if they have moved throughout this entire podcast, but there they are. They're just chilling. All right, guys. So to recap the writing part, first, write about how you feel and why you feel that way. Second, write about something memorable that happened. Third, write about your plans tomorrow. And then fourth, write 2 things you are grateful for in your life. So let me recap all of the 5 ways. Okay, so the first way, to practice your listening, watch the YouTube channel Vox. You can use Language Reactor to see dual subtitles and put your mouse over any words that you don't understand. And Language Reactor only works for the Chrome browser. So the second tip is to practice reading natural English on Reddit. And the specific Reddit subreddit you can go to is r/askreddit. There are many others. You choose whichever is interesting for you. The third tip is to practice speaking with Elsa Speak. The fourth tip is to not talk to foreigners, is to answer questions from a random question generator. By the way, of course you can go to these places and talk to foreigners, but I'm assuming for most of you, that's not something you really want to do. You know, go out and talk to strangers in a foreign language. I think that sounds kind of terrifying for a lot of people. So answering questions from a question generator is another way. And by the way, that's also why Elsa Speak is really useful, because it can generate these situations for whatever you need. And the AI is very scarily realistic. It's weird how realistic it is. And the last way is to practice writing in your journal with 4 tips. So guys, those are the 5 ways to practice your English in 10 minutes or less. I hope it was really useful for you. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.